we have to think of the Spanish bullfight. What is the Spanish bullfight? It could be defined in a way as the teasing and baiting of a bull. Because all the first part of the bullfight, which is the longest, the planting the banderillas in the shoulders of the bull, the play with the muleta and so forth, are not deadly for the bull, but they get him tired, exhausted. They get it in such a state that it would be possible for the torero, for the matador, to kill the animal in the appropriate fashion, in the ritual fashion, which is facing the horns of the animal a few inches away and planting his sword to the heart of the animal in one just single gesture, which is the climax of the bullfight. But if you define a bullfight as the teasing and baiting of a bull, this is not enough. You have to define it as the killing of a bull. But this killing is complex. And if you look at the incredible genius of a certain Goya, which is not too often reproduced, his bullfights with huge crowds being part of the bullfight, you will see that they are closer to Neolithic art in some ways than anything you would think of. And it makes a lot of sense out of them. Therefore, I think we are dealing with a form of religion which is very difficult to situate, because we have that second image, the image of the lepers. Yeah. See, which is an image of balance. He and Haber became interested in his leper. They all touch, but they don't fight, and they are in complete balance. So they can be opposed to the other picture, which is pure motion, destruction, and growth. But I think they may represent an older religion, which is still in existence to a certain extent, and is in conflict with the newer ones, which involves the animal in our first pictures. But this is only a vague hint. Anyway, what interests me enormously, of course, is to find there completely intelligible, represented without writing, a scheme which is the one which is least believed when you speak about the mimetic theory. When you say religion must originate in scapegoat phenomena which are divinal. I think the only possible definition of the pictures before there is this one, and that it corrects the aspects of the reading of this book which are not quite right, because the author doesn't know the mimetic theory. And I think it's a very important discovery really for the future of the mimetic theory and for the scientific backing that we need to make the mimetic theory more plausible and understandable. Because I think it's the only possibility in which these pictures can and should be read. Thank you very much.
About 15, 20 minutes for questions.
I have done some lecturing on Hinduism lately. And,
On what?
On Hinduism. And you have this about the holy cow, the veneration of the cow. And then I began thinking from the mimetic mechanism. Because in the Veda scriptures you have this, that the offering of the bull. And I began thinking from the mimetic theory that this transformation from offering the bull till veneration of the cow, that it's this sacrificial transformation from killing to deification. But this is about animals. I wonder if you could comment, perhaps, if you could explain
Well,
this.
I think the Indian religion, speaking in general, beginning in prehistoric, really probably one of the oldest religions whose traces still remain in modern religion, is very aware of the sacrificial roles of the animals and shows in countless ways, which is what you're talking about, gratitude for, that the religion of the cow may very well be due to the fact that the cow is mysteriously felt as a savior of humanity, as an animal capable of producing peace between men in various ways. So the cult of the milk of the cow and the prohibition against killing cows, I think, are due to a sacrificial past which is repented and rejected in a magnificent way.
René, sorry to have interrupted you, but I couldn't help read those as symbols of castration, because in Hellenistic times there was a cult of the castrated priests of the goddess of Phrygia, which is not too far away from Çatalhöyük, and might represent a later stage of the religion that you identify here at such an early stage. And by the way, thanks for showing it once more, that mimetic theory is the holy grail of all knowledge.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, René. So, Bob sees penises here. I see a whore, a prostitute, to the right.
Yeah, well...
So, I mean, and that's interesting because, as we know, well, we seem to know that there are no women participated in rituals, in primitive religions. And obviously this is a woman, isn't it? I mean, no? To the far right.
It's not a whore, it's a whore.
A woman. A whore, a prostitute, a whore, a prostitute offering herself. I mean, it's obvious, no? Well, she's a woman. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, that's for sure. No, but okay, but the point is not that she's a whore, no. The point is that in your interpretation, this is a woman and she participates in a sacrificial ritual. That's the
You can't read it that way and perfectly legitimate.
yeah, that's...
It cannot be considered. Wolfgang?
Okay, wait, one more. Yeah, I also wanted to ask about the woman. About the woman.
Yeah.
Woman.
But since you've already asked about that, let me raise another question, which is based in Durkheim's idea that the image of the animal is more sacred than the animal itself. The animal may be sacred, but the really important moment is when it's transformed into a representation. And this, the